Hi guys, this week I want to focus on two things. I want to show you a new frosting technique for cupcakes. Well, it's not new per se, but it's new for you guys. And it's something different from the typical ice cream swirl. I want to also focus on a fragrance that I have fallen madly in love with. Grape soda pop. Yum, yum, yum. And I swear to God, it smells just like real grape soda pop. And it's strong, and it stays strong in your soak. This is one of those that sticks really well. Now, it's got a huge amount of aniline in it, so it's going to go dark, 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 kind of like pink sugar does. But instead of it just going brown, we are going to add deep purple to it. And we're going to make it a dark, dark purple. So the base is going to be a dark purple, and we're going to pour those into a cupcake mold. You can use any cupcake mold. The silicone, that is. Don't pour it straight into a muffin pan or a cupcake pan. It'll react with the tin. So if you line those with a cupcake mold that's made out of silicone or any of those kind of things, that's fine. So the base is going to be dark, dark, dark purple and grape soda. And the top, I'm going to pipe some flowers with jam and rock candy. This is a great berry scent, but it doesn't discolor. So, this will be my non-discoloring part for my petals. This will be my yummy base part. That'll go nice and dark. And that's what we're working on today. So, because I'm working in a small batch, not many oils here, I'm doing it as a two-parter. I'm going to do my bases first, and then once those set up a bit, then we'll come back and pipe the tops. Because this is a little bit more delicate than the typical swirl that you're used to, you really should let the bases set up some, if not a day or so later. So I'm going to at least let them get firm enough that I can work with without worrying about it spilling out of the cup. All right? Yeah, I know, it looks funky now, but you'll see, it'll cure out, it won't look like that. Okay. And grab over some of bottoms. All right. I'm going to let these set up, and we will be back to pipe the tops. Okay, so I set my bases off in the freezer for about an hour, so they're nice and firm to work with. I mean, I'm not going to take them out because they'd still lose it, but they're hard enough to grab and turn and not bother. Now, the tips I'm using today, for the main petal, we're going to do a flower. This is a petal tip. It is a Wilton, where is it? 123. But you can use any of the medium to large petal tips that you want. It doesn't have to be the curve. It can be more of the straight. I like the curve because I get a prettier flow with it. Gives a nice flip to the edge. The other one I'm going to use for the center of the flower is this small Wilton 22. Again, you can use any other kind of like sharp star tip. You can even do just a little tiny round tip. This is going to be for the center of the flower with lots of little buds, stuffy in the center. Or you can just do a round of soap and press in some poppy seeds or some calendula petals or little bits of lavender buds. You know, get creative. So let's get going. And And like I said, for the top, we are going to scent it in Jammin' Rock Candy. It's a great candy fragrance that doesn't discolor. And I've got tomato red, because I'm going to do a deep, deep red poppy today. Well, sort of a poppy. It's not exact by any means. And then I've got the black to do the center of it. Now, I've already added my fragrance, and I'm not going to add colorant just yet. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go crazy thick on this because I still have to add colorants and separate them. So, since I don't need a lot of my black, I'm not going to do a whole lot. I'm doing a small container. A bit more. And I want it really black. So yeah, I'm going to go a little nuts. You could also do activated charcoal or anything like that. And then my red, I want it really red. Okay. So I'm going to do my red first. Alright, set that off to the side, pull my black over. There we go. Now here's my little trip to making that red even a little bit deeper. I did my black. I'm going to take it right back over here. Just give it a little bit of that black. Alright. Now, for our frosting bags, at the end I've twisted it and I've done a little twist tie. Because I want to pour this in while it's still liquidy and let it set up in the bag. That way I don't get a bunch of air bubbles and pockets and stuff. So it's going to pour in smooth. I'm going to leave the top open to the air and it'll thick up as I need it that way. So I've got a little cup. See this? I just kind of bend it down, stuck it in the bottom, open it up, and pour in. And that way it's got something to support it. I don't have to worry about it flopping all over the place. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing for the black. Twisty tie. Put it down at the bottom. And open her up. Okay. So there we go. And we will be back when these is stiffened up to a semi-firm consistency. Think of the frosting that you get out of the cans. You want it to be about that stage when you start piping. If you wait too much longer than that, by the time you're done doing your cupcakes, you're going to be struggling to get that soap out. So do it in small batches. Don't try to do something as intricate as this in gigantic batches. I do batches that are anywhere from half a pound to a pound at a time. And if you've got a fast-moving fragrance, 1 pound, way too much to work with. So, Kim and Alamo Candelaria recommends 8 ounces of soap. So that's what we're going to do. Hi, Kim. Thank you. Anyway, we'll be back when this is ready to go. So this is thickened up enough for me to start working it. See, it's kind of squishy, but it's got firmness to it. So I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to flatten this out a little bit. Take this off. And another trick Kim from Alamo Candelaria talks about is using this card to smush it down. Look at that. Nice clean baggie inside. She is so smart and she is so creative. You gotta go check out her channel, Alamo Candelaria. The woman's soaps are amazing. Okay, alright, back to work. So I'm giving it a little twist here. And I'm going to create the centers in here. Now, you can just do a little blob and kind of throw some seeds on top. Or you can do up and down motion, like what I'm going to end up doing, just to give it that appearance of seeds. But for each one of ours, we're going to start off with that little center, and then I'm going to go boop, 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 boop. And I can go back in and do more of that later if I need to make it more seed looking. Little center, little center, little center, and a little center. There we go. Put my black away, and I'm going to grab my red, take my twisty tie off. Now the first ones that you're going to do are going to be a little bit wetter than the last ones you do, obviously, as your soap sets up. So try not to get too fussy, too worried about it. There we go. Get that all the way down at the end. No air bubbles. Awesome. Give it a twist. And when you've got a bigger bag full like this, I like to twisty tie off the top as well, just so I don't get a bunch pouring out accidentally. There we go. Now you're going to have to keep twisting this bag, not that, the bag itself, as you pipe to keep it nice and firm here. So this is the bottom. It's the, think of it, fat bottom. Fat bottom girls. We got a fat bottom cupcake. So the fat bottom is what's always going to stay at the bottom as you're making these petals. And you're basically going to do it in an arc. Just a simple arc. Okay? Try not to go too far out over your cupcake, because when you take these out of the mold, that overhang is going to end up breaking off if you package it and try to ship it, unless you're like really insanely careful. So I'm just going to go a little bit, okay? So there's the bottom, little bit, see, there's your first petal, little bit, little bit. So no, it's not an exact poppy, but it will have that look of the poppy. So see, it's just kind of a little arc, little arc. Got to get the hang of turning at the same time. Little arc, little arc. Now we're going to do another layer of this, but I'm going to do all of my bottom layers first, and then that'll give that a chance to set up a little bit, and then we're going to come back. so there's our first layer. You're going to want to wipe off a bit in between because it'll start mucking up your edges. Alright, again, down, and we're going to twist. Don't worry too much how that bottom layer looks. You're going to be covering it anyway. Now's when we're going to get to more of the three-dimensional part of it. Same thing, bottom down, that bottom down. But this time we're going to come up a little bit higher. So instead of going around like that, we're going to come up like that. And you go in between the petals. So up, 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 up. There we go. Now see, I could have let this get a little bit thicker, but oh well, it's practice, practice. You got to see the consistency. Your recipe's going to be different for each type. Up, up. Whoa, hello, get back there. Up, up, up. Grab my other one. Up, 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 up. Now, they're pretty as they are. Don't get me wrong. You could sparkle that up and go as they are. I just want that extra dimension to it. Up, 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 up. One more. Up. Okay. Now I'm going to get my black again, and I'm going to come in, and this is where I'm just going to do up, squeeze, let go, squeeze, let go. So you want to stop squeezing before you pop up, okay? So squeeze, stop squeezing, up. Squeeze, stop squeezing, up. Got it? Okay, now we're going to finish these off with some glitter. And I don't glitter the center black. I want to leave that black. Just some of the petals. And you don't have to glitter, obviously. But these are a custom order for someone. And they like glitter. Alright, we'll be back when it's time to unmold. And if you got some leftover, go ahead and pipe out some flowers, and you can let them set up and harden and just pop them on a cupcake if you don't want to freehand it. Fat bottom down. There we go. And it's still a little bit soft, so I'm not going to play with it too much, but I wanted to pull it out so you guys can see it. Your beautiful little cupcake. And just let it set up. And there is your completed cupcake, ready to go. How pretty, pretty.